I'm just sewing out an angel skirt, so I thought this would be the perfect time to teach you a bit about using gold and silver metallic threads in the machine. So this is an angel, a 3D effect angel, which I bought from John Deere's site, Adorable Ideas, but I just want to show you it being sewn out. I've layered organza underneath, 2 layers of wash away stabiliser, I use Abigon, and a layer of voile, not voile, I keep saying voile, it's not voile, it's organza on the top before I started. I'm hoping you can see this. So here's my spool. Oh, it's ugly stuff this to get right, but once you've got it right, you're on a winner. So I'm keeping the tension on it as I put it on to a spool director. Now this spool director sits on your bobbin winder, okay? And I'm just putting that on. I'm still keeping a bit of tension, because that's what we don't want. We don't want the thread to run off the end while I'm doing this. Okay, and it's just done it again. See what I mean? It's wonderful stuff. I think what I'll do is I'll put it through the tension device while I put that on. Okay, now I want to slightly turn my thread director. Okay, it's gone through the tensioner, and I'm coming down to thread up. Okay, so my dinner's ready. Now, so I've just threaded the needle. On my machine, I've got in an embroidery lower bobbin, which makes the underneath a bit tighter than a normal bobbin, and the outside you want to lessen the ups from the top. You want to lower your tension just a smidgen. Okay, spool director at an angle. The last thing, we want it to run freely, but we don't want the thread to get caught on the edges, so that's why it's at a little angle. I'm going to come down now to hopefully a more normal view. Is that more normal view? Yay. So I'm doing the silver within the wings first. This is from, still working on my angel. I've got a piece of oil, 2 pieces of wash away stabiliser, and a piece of oil, okay? Not foil, organza. Okay, so I'm starting to stitch. Oh, also slow your machine down. I'm just going to stop that there and get rid of that piece of silver that got caught up, the tail. Get rid of that. Okay, and start again. So, but you must keep your eye on this spool director at all times. If you see it slipped off the edge, stop the machine and revisit it. Did I say slow your machine right down to the slowest it can go using the slider? Mine is working at 400 stitches per minute. That's plenty when you're working with this sort of, it's like cheese wire really. You may ask, because you can see it in action now, you may ask, well, why do I use a thread director? Whoops, and I've just seen a problem. Stop my machine. I've just seen a problem. I don't know whether you'll be able to see what I'm doing now. But as I was chatting to you, so it slipped off the edge and would have wrapped around that arm, which would have caused me a problemo. So, oh, yeah, make sure it can flow freely. Start. Yeah, so what happened was the thread fell off the end, and if it gets wrapped around this tiny bar, that's no good to us. So you've got to be watching it all the time. Well, the reason why we do it on a thread directly like this, so it's coming off horizontally, is because if we stood it up, it would spiral as it came off, which would weaken the thread. So we try and have it come off the machine horizontally. And now I'm on the white, which is the white of the exterior of the wings. I've whopped it up to 1,000 stitches per minute. I've just plopped the gold on. See? It's coming off the top there. This is an angle. See, I need to clean my machine, don't I? Right. And here we are. The silver's done. So it's doing, oops, that pattern now for the inside of the crown. This is the head of the angel. And as you can see, touch wood, and I'm on really small, so it's only doing 400 stitches per minute. Yeah. That's the goal. Now I'm just beginning to do the white. That's what the white's going to look like. So I'm just beginning to do the white. So I've whacked it up now to 1,000 stitches per minute. 6 minutes and we'll be done. I've just cut these 3 elements now out of the hoop. As you can see, I've cut as closely to the stitching as I can without ruining the stitching. They're still opaque because they still have the obicon in between the 2 pieces of organza, but I wanted to look at, the camera doesn't show you it really as nice as it should. So having run it under a tap, as you could see on that last, on the tea towel, now it's drying out. So and now you can see it transparently before I go to stitch it all together in the final piece. Okay, so I just hooped up a bit of cutaway stabiliser. It's like stiff paper. You could, or tear away, because obviously we don't want this to show at the end of the day, but they're using this to be able to stitch all these lovely stiff elements now together. So the first step, using white, is to stitch the lay down outline. So this is the last rather unusual file that you've seen if you've got these files. Okay, so it's done that, and now I have to lay down our pieces on top. Okay, the head must be placed face down in the corresponding line and I am just gonna get a bit of tape and hold that bugger down. Okay, so it won't move. Alright, and then what's the next thing is the wings have to be aligned with the line and the hoops, yeah? And again, I am gonna just use a bit of tape to just make sure that I am correct on my alignment. And that's face up. Okay, so that's held. I could put another bit of tape just there to hold it nice and still. Okay, and then we can push stitch 2 which has given us a horizontal line to allow us to put the wings on. So that has now sewn a horizontal line, and our wings need to go face down, and the middle seam of the wings, which is at an angle at the moment, okay, need to be put down and again taped in place, and they're centered on that stitch at an angle. Okay, so I just plop in some tape down to hold it nice and still. Alright, and then we can do stitch 3, which is going to put all this together now. Alright, that was simple. Alright, so I've just brought this back. Let's get rid of this insult, right? I've just brought this back from the machine, so I'm just going to unhoop it, take off my magnets, and take off bits of my masking tape or paper tape or freezer tape, whatever you call it. Okay. And the head. Oop. The head pump. Okay. And now I'm going to release it from the hoop, as you do. Get rid of my hoop. I did that as a 4x4 hoop, I did it in. Okay, so now there's very little, if you look at the back, there's very little to release it from, but I am just going to steadily take some scissors, obviously making sure I am not cutting my stitching. Okay, and it's only really this point here that's stuck to the paper, because the rest of it really was just, you know, showing you where to lay down the lines. So I am literally cutting round that double stitch bar. That's all I need to do. Try to do it carefully. I want to do it as carefully as I can. Out cutting the stitching. There we go. So for all that stabiliser, as you can see, if I bring this up to you, I'm just looking at a few gold threads that are here. Trying to get rid of. So there's one or two threads, which I think is probably where it's stuck to my tea towel, to be honest. Right, so the only bit that is showing, which is behind the gold bit, is that centre piece there. Now, what we need to do is to make it up into the angel, and then you will see how it works. I need to cut some holes. I'm not going to do great big holes, but I need to cut some holes in the voile, and I'm just going to quickly do that. So that I can put the corresponding bits together. Okay. So now I need to thread these tabs through to the other side. There's one. You have to forgive me for this. There's two. I'm just going to plonk it through, see, and then just pull it. I just made a slit in the voile for this, and naturally every year you can then lay it flat to store. Okay, now so there she is, done up. Her head in my mind is a little floppy, so I might put an extra stitch or two in that, and her wings are a little floppy. Right, yeah, okay, she's gorgeous, but I can see where I might just put an extra stitch or two in to hold her straight. Now you can't see that way up, so I'm going to show you this led down. Alright, so that's our 3D angel, and as I said, with a needle, I am just going to, with, you know, a sewing needle, I am just going to secure that head, and I may put some extra starch on the wings, because they're a bit floppy, aren't they? Although when she was sat onto the tree, she would be pretty good. Anyway, I'm going to do that. So that's our angel finished. Okay. She is beautiful, sparkles like mad, made with organza and wash away stabiliser. I will put in the link below where I got the file from. It's from John Deere's Adorable Ideas, and it is very, very nice if you want to do the same for yourself.